And I feel like the character of Avi is an answer to detectives that, we might have seen 20 years ago. Like, for instance, like Vic Mackey on The Shield, was a character very of his time, and he says, good cop and bad cop, I've gone home for the day. I'm a different kind of cop. And then he takes a phone book and smashes somebody's face with it. 20 years have passed. Look at all the damage and all the violence that's happened in that 20 years. And I feel like Avi is an answer to that.
Now, there are so many, police dramas out there, but it feels like The Calling is a total departure from the genre a little bit. The characters, its tone. Can you tell me a little bit about what flipping the script on the crime drama genre was like and how you made that happen?
Well, it's really cool to hear you say that. I think Jason and I both jump for joy when we hear people who've watched the show say that, because we live in a law and order world where people know police procedurals. They know the Chicago series, and so on the surface you may see a cop show in New York City and go, I know what this is. And so what's fun to do as writers and producers is to flip the script, as you say, and come in with a character who's in a familiar place, but is just so unfamiliar in and of itself, in and of himself. And so Avraham is someone we think brings a lot to the table as a cop. He brings a lot to the table as a human. And at the end of the day, his faith happens to be, backed by Judaism, but this could be someone of any religion who looks at other human beings and thinks there's a bit more to them and a bit more to what they're going through than meets the eye.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Avi's kind of a protagonist like we haven't seen on TV in quite some time, if ever. So can you tell me a little bit about his character and how Jeff Wilbush brings him to life?
Yeah, I mean, he's a person of faith, and I think there's a warmth to him, and an empathy and a compassion, which I'm so happy to hear you say that it feels fresh. It feels fresh to me too. And I was so thrilled to read the pilot script and get involved in the show. I think David did such a great job. And I feel like the character of Avi is an answer to detectives that, we might have seen 20 years ago. Like, for instance, like Vic Mackey on The Shield, was a character very of his time, and he says, good cop and bad cop, I've gone home for the day. I'm a different kind of cop. And then he takes a phone book and smashes somebody's face with it. 20 years have passed. Look at all the damage and all the violence that's happened in that 20 years. And I feel like Avi is an answer to that. And maybe there's a different way to go. Maybe it's not smashing somebody's face with a telephone book. Maybe it's listening to them and hearing them and giving them a chance to, atone, and really seeing people. I think that's the reason why Detective Abraham is so effective, that he's actually listening to people, giving them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is kind of an interesting landscape to be making a police drama nowadays. What were the conversations going back and forth as you were putting this together and really figuring out how to make this happen?
It starts first and foremost with an understanding that, especially because we were shooting in New York, that we can't ignore what's going on. You can't, by the same token, chase the rip from the headline stories, because by the time we air, there'll be something else that's come about within those same issues. But at least I can speak from when pen first went to paper. It was talking to cops. It was talking with Jonathan Shapiro, who's a Talmudic scholar himself. It was myself having a bar mitzvah and growing up Jewish and then moving to Los Angeles, but also living in New York for a long time. What was that like? And so by gathering a lot of these voices, and it's what David does so well, is he then translates it onto a page. And I think there's so many different perspectives on this show. And I know you've only seen the first 4 episodes, but the back 4, and hopefully if there's a season 2, it's our job to bring all those voices together and have those difficult conversations. We just wanted to feel like it's not someone with a pen telling people how they feel, and more Avi and these characters organically having these important discussions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the series is based on the book, The Missing File. How was it adapting that book? How close did you stay to it? How much did you take creative license?
There's the popular saying, of course, write what you know. And neither David nor I have lived in Tel Aviv where the book takes place. And so, yeah, you can do your research and you can bring on someone else. And of course, there's a way to do that. But at the end of the day, Avraham felt like such an authentic and unique character to explore what that would be like in America. And so New York City being this melting pot of so many different backgrounds and beliefs, and it felt like that's what gives us the longest runway, and that's what gives us the most fun to play with, is how is this guy going to bounce off of all these other different human beings in this city?
Well, and you've got like an all-star cast, all stars behind the camera, working with David E. Kelley, Barry Levinson behind the camera. What was that like? It's
a joy. I mean, it's so much fun to show up and be challenged every day. You know, all of the actors were, there was no drama on the set. There's often drama, and, you know, and that just takes away energy from, you know, what could be spent in a more creative and productive way. And there was none of that. So it was everybody in their A game, showing up with their best ideas, and, you know, and the set and the writer's room is very collaborative too. So everybody's open, you know, anybody that has an idea. We had a tricky thing that we had to answer. And literally my door's open to anybody, and an assistant editor, who's not usually a person that comes up with story, had an idea and pitched it, and it was perfect. So on the show, everybody has a voice. And because of that, and because of people like David E. Kelley and Barry Levinson and Hans Zimmer being involved, you know, it's a pretty rare experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes for a really great show. The first 4 episodes that I've seen are amazing, and I really am looking forward to everyone getting to see the show. So I appreciate your time today.